of Group 2 Queen Elizabeth II Cup, which welcomed 9 horses into the parade ring for the contest to be run over 2,000 meters on the short course. Step It Up, trained by Laurie Laxon, was coming into the contest on the back of a third place in the YB 2006 Stakes Kranji Stakes A over 1,400 meters on the turf on 3rd April, and would be looking at securing his first victory since February of last year with Manuel Nunes in the saddle. The Patchwork trained Quesha was coming into the contest on the back of a second place in the Group 3 JBBA Moonbeam Race over 1,800 meters on the turf on 5th April, and would be looking at getting back his winning form with Corey Brown in the saddle. The Michael Friedman trained Paranda was coming into the contest on the back of a win in the Group 1 CECF Singapore Cup, and would be looking at securing her second win in Singapore with Michael Rod in the saddle. The Steve Burridge trained Wild Geese was coming into the contest on the back of a disappointing run in the Big Maverick 2008 Stakes Open Stakes over 1,400 meters on the turf on 17th April, and would now be looking at improving on that performance with Charles Newitt on his back.
They're racing. Danger Zone was awkward out of the gates and Martin snagged straight back to the rear. So as they cover the first 150 in the QE2 Cup, and is going to be a slew of load rolling up on the outside of Keshwar, Emperor's Banquet, and thumping over on the inside. So slew of load a little wide going into the first bend. Paranda slotted across behind them, and over on the inside is Step It Up. A gap of 4 lengths then to Wild Geese outside of Danger Zone and Martin back at the rear. So John Powell has no option. Here he goes on with Slew of Load, and Slew of Load's going to reach the lead but did a bit of work. Led by a length and a quarter. Up to second on the outside, Keshwar, and Thumping is over on the fence. They were followed after a length then to Emperor's Banquet. Next of all then is Paranda racing in the 1 wide line. The outside of Step It Up, who improves inside of her. A gap of 3 lengths then to Wild Geese, followed by Danger Zone, and last of all is Martin marching down the back in the QE2, and 1,100 metres to go, and Slew of Load getting it a little easier now in the front, shows the way over Keshwar up on the outside. Thumping over on the leader's back in a great position for Alan Munro. They were followed by Emperor's Banquet, one off the fence from Step It Up in the red jacket, then the USA bred mare Paranda. Over on the inside, Danger Zone improving ahead of Wild Geese, and at the rear is Martin. Down the side they come, 800 metres to go. Slew of Load trying to be cuddled along here by Johnny Powell, shows the way by a length over Keshwar up on the outside. Thumping the fence, going around them now is Paranda off nice and early for Michael Rod, and Emperor's Banquet goes with it. Step It Up is caught up between horses, then Wild Geese, Danger Zone, and back of the tail is Martin. They turn in, Slew of Load the leader, but only narrowly. Keshwar, and now Paranda zooms up on the outside. Paranda went to the lead of the 350. Keshwar's very tough, it goes with it. Wild Geese is down the outside running on. Step It Up getting into the clear. Paranda a narrow leader, but Keshwar fighting on strongly the inside. Step It Up begins to descend on them, and Wild Geese out wider. Paranda, Keshwar, Wild Geese coming at the pair with Step It Up. They drive to the wire in the QE2. Step It Up. Step It Up drove between them and gets up a nostril. Tight for second, Paranda, Wild Geese, and Keshwar, and a great finish.
Yeah, he's small horse but big heart. You have 2 hearts. It's just too good, you know. He's small horse, but always try 100%. It was a small field, you know. I have to ride for luck, and I was follow Keshwar. Have not much room, but since I got small gap, he just got it.
In a finish that had everyone on the edge of their seats, Step It Up, Quesha, Paranda and Wild Geese battled down to the wire, with Step It Up just about nosing out the other to land the spoils. Quesha was in second while Paranda was in third. Step It Up is the son of Husonet and has taken his earnings to over 1.5 million Singapore dollars. Up next was the feature race of the day. The Group 1 Lion City Cup, the third leg of the Singapore Sprint Series, saw 9 horses come into the fray for the contest to be run over 1,200 meters on the turf on 26th of April. The Alvin Tan trained War Affair was making his first appearance this season. He had run 5th the last time out in the Singapore Gold Cup, with the 2,200 meter trip proving too much for him. And he would now be looking at getting back his form with Alan Munro partnering him. War Affair was the joint favourite along with Cliff Brown trained Zach Spirit, who was coming into the contest on the back of 2 consecutive wins, including the Group 3 Kranji Sprint over 1,200 meters and would be looking at making it 3 wins on the trot with Michael Rod partnering him. Emperor Max from Stephen Gray's yard was coming into the contest with a success record of 7 wins from 12 starts. He was making his first start this season after running second in the Guineas Stakes Open over 1200 meters in November last year. He would now be looking at starting this season with a win with Corey Brown in the saddle. The Michael Clements trained Kiwi Karma was coming into the contest on the back of 3 consecutive wins, including the Desta Singapore 3-year-old sprint over 1200 meters on the turf, and would be looking at giving the boys some stiff competition with Manuel Nunes holding her reins.
Racing now in the Lion City Cup, goalkeeper Zach Spirit the first 2 to leave, and Petronui being pushed up on the outside. Kiwi Karma dwelt a little bit, but she fires between horses. Faultless is trying to surf across with Petronui. They were followed by Emperor Max. Next of all is Hooker Falls. War Affair can't go the early speed, drifted back to second to last, and Cheetah on Fire at the rear. Down the side, Petronui at the 800 metres led from Kiwi Karma. Faultless up on the outside, then goalkeeper. Zach Spirit's getting a lovely run, about 4 from the leader. Then came Emperor Max, Tillings to Hooker Falls, War Affair with a big job to do, and back of the tail is Cheetah on Fire. Petronui, 500 metres to go in the Lion City Cup, shows the way by 4. Over in second, Kiwi Karma, Faultless up on the outside, then Zach Spirit about to go. Outside of him is Emperor Max, followed by goalkeeper. War Affair begins to launch down the outside, coming with a big run. Petronui at the 220, led from Kiwi Karma, Faultless. Zach Spirit grinding away, Emperor Max. War Affair down the outside, Kiwi Karma, the 3-year-old, went to the lead. Zach Spirit almost on terms. War Affair begins to fly. Kiwi Karma joined by War Affair, Zach Spirit and Emperor Max. War Affair, what a monster. War Affair gets up by a head, tight for second. Zach Spirit, Emperor Max and Kiwi Karma, and another great finish.
It's a very big worry, especially about 600 meter, I still see he haven't closed up with the rest of the horses. So I just can do is pray hard that, the last 400 meter he really give the best.
I knew he'd win from the 400, the way he picked up. But then he blew out at the 200, just took a breath. So it sort of stunted his run, really, or ended his run partially. But he's good, so he recovered and he won.
War Affair came from the back of the field to take the lead with 50 meters to go and put his head up on the post just ahead of Zach Spirit. Emperor Max was in third. War Affair is a son of O'Reilly and clocked a minute 9.21 to take his winning earnings to over 2 million Singapore dollars with this win. With the start of the flat racing season in Europe, racing is kick-started across the continent, and with the culmination of the Guineas Stakes in the UK, it was time for the French equivalent with the running of the Poule d'Essai de Pouliches and the Poule d'Essai de Poulains. The Group 1 Poule d'Essai Poulains, which is the equivalent of the 2000 Guineas, was run first this last Sunday on the 10th of May at Longchamp. The mile-long contest saw 18 3-year-old Coles face the starter this time. Andre Fabre fielded 2 runners here, Make Believe and New Way. Make Believe was making only his second career start after running second in the Jebel Group 3 Stakes and would be looking at clinching top honours this time with Olivier Pellier in the saddle. New Way too was making his second career appearance. He was coming into the contest on the back of a win in the Machado Stakes here over the same distance and had Vincent Cheminot in the saddle once again, who would be looking at guiding the colt to victory. The Francois Rohaut trained Mr. Owen too was coming into the contest on the back of a victory in the Cadet Roussel Maiden Stakes over the same trip at Saint-Cloud and would be looking at continuing his winning form with Bertra holding his reins once again. It was, however, the Aidan O'Brien trained Highland Reel who enjoyed the market support here. The colt had won 2 from 3 starts, including the Veuve Clicquot Stakes Grade 2, and was expected to run a big one here with Roy Moore on his back.
And they're away for the French 2000s. They all get away fairly well. New Bay, Cole Morville towards the outside. We're just a tad slow. Make Believe got out quickly, so too Highland Rio is up on the speed. Out wide coming across is Mr. Rowan. Also El Switzo is up there as they make their way into the turn and leave the back straight. Make Believe comes through to lead by 1.5 on El Switzo second. Flaming Spear got out of the stalls quickly, moving up on the outside, and More Envoy running on the inner in 4th position. Followed by coming up on the outside, then behind those is Mr. Rowan, and then comes Highland Rio. They come in the home straight now. Make Believe showing in front. Sir Andrew is the one against the rail behind them in about 6th position, but Make Believe is going well by 2. On in 2nd position is Mr. Rowan. Highland Rio is a bit outpaced at the moment. Flaming Spear. Cara from the back of the field is running on, but they've got to get to Olivier Pellier and Make Believe, who's out in front by 3 legs. He looks like he's got the Poulains. Mr. Rowan in second, More Envoy third. New Bay coming from the clouds will grab second for Vincent Cheminot, but it's Olivier Pellier second, Poulains entre 5-6 as Make Believe trouts them to win by 3.
Make Believe jumped to the lead from the start and held on to it to hand trainer Andre Fabre his 6th win here. For his jockey Olivier Pellier, this was the 2nd win in the esteemed race. New Bay was second home 3 lengths behind, handing the master trainer a 1-2, while Mr. Owen was in third. The girls followed the boys with the running of the Group 1 Poule d'Essai Pouliches, the French 1000 guineas. 14 fillies lined up at the starting gates. Hervedia, trained by Jean-Claude Rouget, was coming into the fray enjoying the lion's share of market support, and not surprisingly, considering her success record of 3 wins from 5 starts. The filly had won her last start, the Imprudence Group 3 filly stakes, a month before, and with Christophe Soumillon partnering her once again, would be looking at clinching top honours here. Martin Mead, trained Irish rookie, was coming into the contest on the back of a 6th in the Kipco 1000 guineas and was one of the front runners here with Fergus Sweeney in the saddle. Andre Fabre fielded Mexican Gold, another highly regarded contender here, who was coming into the fray on the back of a win in the De La Roth Group 3 filly stakes and would be looking at continuing her winning streak with Vincent Cheminot in the saddle.
They're away. Get away. Bit awkward from the barriers was Bellissi with the distinguishing blue cap and Frankie Dettori. Also May Marta was a bit slow to get out. Qatar Dance is also eased towards the back of the field on the inside. Early on, and Fontanalis runs into the lead with the black sleeves. Pinorca up on the outside is working into 2nd place with Royal Rosalma out wide working around of Kanuska. They are 3rd and 4th, and then behind those on the inside is Irish Rookie, followed by Saint Amaran, and then on the inside is Soft Drink, followed by Queen Bee, and around this is Mexican Gold. Just pushed along, then Saint Amaran, Kanuska the next 2 from Mexican Gold, then Queen Bee, Soft Drink going up on the inside. Alvadia only got about 2 behind her. Plenty of work to do as the favourite. Fontanalis 350 to run is the leader, but Irish Rookie on the inside is coming there strongly. Vincent Cheminot's getting going for the back of Mexican Gold, and so too is Alvadia at the 200. And here's Alvadia with a super run. Alvadia picked up the lead, got to the top, drifting in a bit, but gets to the lead. A big win in the Pouliches for Alvadia. Wins it by 3/4. Irish Rookie in 2nd, Mexican Gold in 3rd place.
Hervedia was at the rear of the field for the better part of the race and had enough left in the tank to take the lead in the final furlong and win by 3/4 of a length over Irish Rookie, who ran a game 2nd, just a neck in front of Mexican Gold in 3rd.
And with me here in Singapore, just ahead of the Bangalore season, having a holiday, is Suraj Narredu, who's, well, he knows the Bangalore track better than most others, won many championships out there. And, well, let's just start by looking ahead to the Bangalore season, Suraj. What are some of the nice 3-year-olds? Let's start there.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Bangalore season and try to get my championship back. My dad's got a couple of good youngsters. The best one there is Authoritarian, and one of my brother's other horse called Super Sunshine. Both are bred out of Holy Roman Emperor, and they look that they're going to be some good horses for the coming season.
Now, the Bangalore summer, that's always an exciting time because a lot of good horses come there. There's no other racing anywhere else in India at that point in time. What's different? Is there anything different this year at all?
Nothing much different. It's the same. Obviously, there's going to be more competition. We have some good youngsters from Bombay coming in. Obviously, Admiralty comes with a high reputation. And the classic season looks very competitive. A lot of trainers have unraced 3-year-olds. So we have to wait and watch what comes out and who turn out to be the classic potential horses.
Now, from the younger riders who are, always upcoming, of course, your cousin is one. He's had a super season, but he's still very inexperienced. He's still very young. Who are some of the other riders that you can say are those that are ones we should look out for?
Well, obviously in the younger lot just now, the next generation, there's Sandesh who's doing really well. He's a good rider. Trevor is doing really well of late, and he's been a very promising young rider. And obviously Yash has just started recently. It's just been a year. He's doing really well. He is inexperienced, but he's definitely got the potential to turn out one of the fine riders.
Now, it's a fairly large family affair. You have your dad, who's a jockey. He's now a trainer. Your brother's a trainer. Your uncle's a trainer. Your cousins are riders. How difficult is it balancing this all?
Well, I don't know how difficult it is. For me, it's quite easy. I do my job, they do their own job. My dad looks after his training. I don't interfere, and with me, it's just my riding. I try and do my thing, and they do their own. And yes, when it's a team effort, we all combine and work out together. But between the riders, it's very simple. They just do their own job.
Now let's talk about you as a rider. Compare yourself to Malesh and Satish. Who's the best of the three?
Well, it's not fair to compare, first of all. But yeah, I don't think I can compare. Whatever I am today, I've learned from them. So it's very unfair for me to compare to them. While Uncle obviously was one of the finest riders we've ever seen. My dad, yes, he had a lot of classics. He's 1,000 races. So I'm still learning. I'm a baby.
All right, well said. Okay, let's talk about the older horses. What are some of the good older horses in Bangalore this summer?
Older horses, obviously, we have Be Safe, who's the best horse. And I have high regards for that horse. Probably the best I've ever ridden. And I don't know if I can ever ride a horse like him. The next best comes Quasar, who are the top two in this year's lot. And there's Tiger Tops and the other horses who fill in are among the best.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned Be Safe. Now, in the inquiry, post the invitation, and I represented you there, so I'm on TV proud to say that I did, because I think you did nothing wrong. But let's go through that. Let's go through that experience. And what were some of the things you learned from that? First, let's go through the race, even before we go through the experience. What happened? What's your understanding of this race now that it's all over, done and dusted?
Well, first and foremost, I'm really sad that we didn't win this race. Be Safe deserved to win. He had done everything right. Unfortunately, under those circumstances, whatever decision I had to take at the split second, and what I thought was right for the horse, I did it. Yeah, maybe it has worked. Maybe it has not worked. I don't know. I don't know if I would have still won the race. There are many ifs and buts to it, but at that point of time, as a rider, I thought that this was the best thing to do, because he's a very free-striding horse, and to get him settled the early part of the race was very important. So that was what I did, and unfortunately we couldn't win this race, but we got beat to a good horse, So it's very unfortunate we didn't win.
The fact that the invitation was pushed, back by a week. Was there a difference in the two horses you had ridden, one in the Derby and one in the invitation?
Definitely, there was a lot of difference. The spark that he always showed, that kind of spark, I didn't find him on that particular day. I know him so well. While walking to the gates, I realized he wasn't himself. I know the way he walks, the way he looks around. At that day, something I was finding missing. You know, I was not so sure. But yes, that kind of spark he did not show on that particular day.
Now, finally, you're here in Singapore on a holiday, and you're here with your family. What's it been like? What are some of the things you've been doing out here? What are some of the things you've enjoyed about Singapore?
Well, it's a beautiful city. I love this place. And the last 1 month I was in France and I wasn't with my family, so I was really missing them. And they wanted to go for a holiday as well. It was the best time for me because it's an off season. So I got my wife and my son here, and we've been having a great time over here, taking them to all the places where kids can go, swimming and relaxing. And it's been an enjoyable holiday.
Quickly tell us about France. How's that experience? What did you learn there?
It's a beautiful experience. It's very, very different, unlike India. And you know that they train in the forest in the morning. It's one of the best things. If you love horses and nature, it's one of the best things to do. And obviously, the racing was fantastic. I rode at 5 race courses, and the topmost race courses. I did 5 rides, which is a great experience to ride with the top trainer jockeys and for the top trainers. You know, so it was lovely.
And finally, your son, 3 years old, but he already thinks he's a jockey, isn't it?
Yeah, he's crazy about horses, and every now and then he just wants to race. He wants to ride horses, or he wants to ride on me. So yeah.
You like riding? Who's the best jockey in the world?
Tell in the mic.
You tell.
Frankie Dettori.
Frankie Dettori, okay. He's obviously feeling very camera shy, and you're having a wonderful time out here, and it looks like he's having a wonderful time. I can see the glint in his eye. Thanks, Suraj. We wish you the best, and hope you have a super Bangalore season ahead.